Alright, this time at the Quick Speed Shop, we're going to put new ball joints in this 1995 Ford F-250. I'm a professional, don't try this at home. Alright, for the first step of replacing the ball joints on your old body style truck, two-wheel drive truck right here, I've removed the wheels. I've got the truck up on jack stands. I'm supporting the axles under here with jack stands, and I've got another set under the frame to make sure this thing is super sturdy while we work on it. The first step is to remove the brakes to get them out of the way to get to the spindle. That's going to involve removing the brake caliper, the caliper bracket that holds the caliper, and then removing the rotor and the dust shield, and that will show us the spindle here, which can then be removed to change the ball joints. So I'm doing a separate video if you're interested on more step-by-step of the brakes coming apart and going back together. But essentially, you've got two bolts here that hold the caliper apart, and then two bigger bolts that hold the bracket apart, and then take your spindle nut off and take your rotor off and all that. So I'm going to break this down into two videos. This video is going to be more associated with the ball joint, and then there's going to be a separate brake video. If you're interested in that, you can go to the channel and watch the more detailed brake tutorial there, but we're going to concentrate on the ball joints in this video. First step to get to the spindle after removing the brakes is to remove the dust shield. These are 5/16 or 8mm bolts here. There's 3 of them. We'll remove the dust shield, and I'm going to clean it up while I got it off. Hopefully these bolts come out without breaking. That would be bad. There we go. Dust shield's a little thin. This truck's got almost 200,000 miles on it, and a lot of wear and tear in the salt. Okay, we'll remove the dust shield. Ooh, that's pretty nasty there. My seal is shot. I'm gonna try to clean that up the best we can there. It's just a little felt or foam seal, and the spindle is pretty rough. This dust shield's got a bunch of rust here. Pretty rough, typical New York State vehicle here. Okay, in order to remove our spindle and to remove our ball joints, I need to drop off the steering tie rod end. I'm going to pull the cotter key out of this nut, take the nut all the way off, and I'm going to strike it here with a large hammer, and I should drop this down, release the tension on there, and drop it down without ruining the boot. For the upper ball joint, there's a bushing in here that sets the caster camber of the front end. This is a factory bushing here. If you have already had an alignment where they adjusted the caster and camber, they have these that are adjustable. They have an index in them. This one's a factory one. It has a factory keeper here, so it can't get out of alignment. But if you have one that doesn't have the factory keeper, you want to be sure to tell where the split in it is facing, and even make a mark with like a grease pencil so you could not have the spin and get your alignment out of whack. You should still have the vehicle aligned after you change the ball joints. This will keep you in the closest setting that it was at before you put the ball joints in it. So this one, since it's got the factory piece here, I don't have to worry about it spinning. So I need to remove this upper bolt, which is a pinch bolt that holds that piece together. And I'll probably drive my little bar in here to help spread this out, just take some of the tension off it there. And then in the lower ball joint, we've got a big nut here. We can remove that, and I can strike the axle here, and it should release. The entire spindle should drop right off at that point. Okay, I removed the tie rod. I'm going to leave the nut hanging on here just for a second, one thread, and I'm going to give it some firm blows right here on the side of the steering arm, and it should release this. There we go, release the tie rod end. I'll drop that down. That's still pretty tight, so I don't need to worry about changing that. Now that frees up our spindle here. I just need to remove the lower nut on the lower ball joint and remove the upper bolt here. The upper bolt's metric, it's 15 millimeter. I don't need to remove this bolt all the way because the tension is off. The tension is off the split here. And what you can do is take your bar and put it in here to release the tension just a little bit on here. I'm just going to tap that to try to release that. So I can see the tension is off the upper knuckle. So the upper ball joint should want to come out of that bushing here. Okay, I've got the lower nut loose. I'm just going to go ahead and take the hammer, try striking the lower part of this casting, and see if the ball joint will pop free. It's kind of an odd angle. There we go. Popped right out of there. You want to leave the nut on so it doesn't drop down and kill you. So now we can remove the nut. Whoa, don't do that, don't drop it. Nuts. So now here's our spindle. The ball joints are fine on this side. This upper one feels a little crunchy. The lower one is nice. So now we got that out. I can clean this up. My bushing stayed where it's supposed to stay. I'm going to wire wheel this up a little bit and rattle can some paint on here just to help protect this just a little bit. And we'll go inside and we'll take the ball joint press. We'll press these ball joints out of here and put the new ones in. I've got nice quality Moog ball joints to use. So let's go do that. All right, here we go. We're going to press the ball joints out of the spindle. I've got my Maddox ball joint kit. I bought this at Harbor Freight. I'm doing a separate, a little bit more unboxing video if you want to see that, but we've basically got a big C-clamp press here, and the lower one needs to be pressed out first. It's going to go on here. We're going to drive it out. I'm using Moog ball joints in this Ford. This K8000 or 827, that's the lower ball joint right here. Here's the part number. It's Moog, made in America. As you can see, this goes here. The snap ring, it goes on this here. That needs to be removed, and this will drive down out. And then once the lower ball joint is out of the way, I can put the tool into the knuckle and drive out the upper ball joint. So we're going to do the lower one first. I've got to get some kind of pliers or probably just a chisel and knock the snap ring off because it looks like it's kind of rusted on there. Where's my safety glasses? Safety first. All right, here we go. I've got this chisel. I'm going to loosen it up with this chisel first. Okay, it's busted free there. Busted free there. Let me get some snap ring pliers. We'll remove the snap ring. These aren't really snap ring pliers, but they should do. Oh, there we go. Remove that. That was pretty nasty. Now, hopefully this will drive out of here without too much trouble. So I've got to get an adapter that will fit over the ball joint. It's got to be a little bit bigger than that. The kit comes with lots of spacers. Okay, that is going to work there. Let's see. I need a spacer. Okay, this will fit over the ball joint. That's good. I'm going to stack this adapter up onto here, use it on this, go over the ball joint. Now I can press into the cup. That's where you need 3 hands. I'll hang the tool on it like this. Drive right down into the center of the ball joint. I've got a 7/8 socket. I've got the ratchet here. Just going to go ahead and spin this around so it's using this knuckle to hold itself. Okay. I've got a receiving cup. This is kind of high. I'm going to set down to this lower hole so I can get a better grip on it here. Get a cheater bar on here. Watch your fingers. it just busted free. It's starting to move. I felt that. It's working pretty nice. The receiving cup is taking the ball joint. I can take off my breaker bar. It's driving it out of the knuckle, or spindle, I should say. There we go. It's almost free. Right there. Man, that was awesome. As you can see, the receiver cup took the ball joint. We'll take our top piece off, and look at that. Press that guy right out of there with a good amount of surface rust. So press that out like no problem. Look how crusty the bottom that was. So we got the lower one out. Now I can take the tool. I can set the tool in here to get around this with the top adaptator cup here, and we'll press the upper ball joint out the same way. Thing. Oh, there we go. She just popped. Oh, was in there pretty good too. That's coming right out. Nice. There we go. Upper ball joint has been removed. Fantastic. Move our cup. There's the upper ball joint right there. Came right out perfectly. Just a little bit of, I had a little bit of rust down in there, hanging on to that one a little bit. That's nice. Now I'm just going to take a little scribe tool and clean all the rust out of the edges. Where'd my tool go? I'll use this. Just going to clean a little bit of rust out of here. Make sure we get a nice press. Put the new ball joints back in. Okay, we're going to reinstall the ball joints in the opposite order that we took them out because of the way the tool works. So we're going to be putting the lower ball joint in first. You don't put any oil or nothing on here. You just take it and press it right back in place. So I should be able to start it like that. I gotta get my long cup out. I need one that pushes on the ball joint itself. Let's go ahead and get the press in place here for now. This is gonna be tight. Maybe I'm doing it wrong here. Okay, let's try this. We can use the shorter one. It's all about figuring out which cups are going to work for you. There we go. All right, there we go. We can use the shorter cup there, and then I can use this cup. No, I can use this cup. We're at about the max of our reach on the thread, so I got to be careful. It'll work. Get in there. Okay. There we go. I'm going to start it. I'm going to have to switch adapters part way through here, but we're going to get it started like this. I've got that adapter on there. I can start to draw it in place a little bit here until I, oops, it's pushing a little crooked. Hold on a minute. Okay, I think I'm driving against myself here. Now I gotta change the tools out a little bit. Yeah, because I pressed it in flat, so now I got to figure out a short cup to push on. Here we go. I got it pressed in all the way. I ended up cutting a piece of exhaust tubing to make a little short spacer. Then I had to use a piece of flat stock, and you can see how much pressing that did. It mushed the exhaust tubing, which isn't, you know, none of the stuff's hardened, and mushed that flat stock pretty good. But I got the ball joint pressed in the rest of the way, ready to put the spring clip on the bottom here. Take my hokey majokey pliers and see if I can make this work. These aren't really designed for this, but I think it'll work. Well, maybe not. Let's try to coax it. Oh, shoot. I wish I had some actual snap ring pliers. That'd be handy right about now. Holy shamoly. Get on there. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. Did it. Aha. Ping. It's in there. So lower ball joint's installed. Woo! That was a good one. We'll take our upper ball joint. That presses down. Get it started here. I think we can do this a little bit less monkeying around here, because this I can use the this cut piece. Oop, don't fall out. That's the wrong end. I can use this. Actually, I think I can just use the end of the C-clamp there. And then we'll take our adaptator. We'll put that right on here on the ball joint. Put our tool on. Oops, that's the wrong end. Batting 1 for 1,000 here. There we go. Put our tool on there. Should work just fine. All right. This. All right. Now, this should press this guy right into here. As long as it doesn't kick off. Yes, tubing is just about too big to work with this. It wants to ride. There we go. It's pressing in there now. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Ta-da. Perfect. All right, we got both ball joints installed on the knuckle here. This thing is ready to go back in the truck. I'm gonna hit it with some black, what do you call it? Some black paint before I put it on the truck. There we go, installed ball joints with our Maddox 10-piece ball joint press from Harbor Freight. Okay, unfortunately it got dark on me out here, but I've got the spindle. I've got it painted black, and we're gonna install it right now. All I gotta do is stick it back in here. Like it came right out. I got a new castle nut here and a new cotter key for the bottom. I'm just gonna slide it right up in here and hang the nut on the bottom of it to grab it. Right quick. Okay, there we go. The boots are on the on the ball joints themselves. There's new boots on there. So I've got this temporarily on here, and I'll take my socket and I'll draw this right up with the ratchet, and then I can reinstall the tie rod end over here. Pull my rag out the head while I was painting the hole. So do that, and we'll have this tighten right up. So let me draw that down, and then we'll tighten the pinch bolt, and this thing should be ready to go to have the brakes reinstalled, and we'll be all set, ready to rock and roll. Okay, just got to line up my castle nut with my threads, but that should, yeah, look at that, perfect. Got to crank this around just a little bit more. I've lined up my cotter key hole, perfect. Now the upper ball joint is here in place. I've got to tighten the pinch point bolt back down. Where's the tool to do that? That was 15 millimeter, I believe. Yes. Okay. There we go, nice and tight. Check this, oh yeah, that turns good. I've installed my grease fittings for here. I'll grease this when I'm done. And I'm going to take a little bit of grease, I'm going to put it in this upper bushing, just because it's bare metal and it hangs down a little bit. So I'm just going to fill it up with grease to help it stop getting anything in there to rust away. And I'm going to clean up my tie rod end here. Just wipe any debris off that. And that will go right back in place where it was there. Okay. Just a little bit more for the cotter key. Bump. Everything is reinstalled. I've tightened my upper pinch bolt for the upper ball joint here. I've tightened the bottom one in. I've got to install my cotter key and bend that over in the lower nut. I've got to put a new cotter key in the tie rod end. Then I can put my dust shield on and then reassemble the brakes, and we'll have brand new ball joints on my 95 F250. The other side is going to be the exact same process. The reason I started doing this is the upper ball joint on the passenger side is loose. So that's how you do ball joints with a ball joint press on your old body style Ford F250, F350 two-wheel drive truck. And this looks like it was successful. And I'll put it back together and I'll be down the road for another 200,000 miles of enjoyment. So thanks for watching. I put out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And we'll see you again right here at the Quick Speed Shop.